right, testing. Oh, that's right. I can't hear it. No, I can hear it. That's right. I can't hear it. And it sounds great. Okay. All right. Be with you in a moment. In a moment. In a moment. Let's set up here. And that is to add this to the Jumbotron, and we can begin in 30 seconds. Let's see here. Oh, it's this one. Show thread. Aha, you're good. Welcome to another episode of Illicit Therapy. Welcome, my haters, my lovers. And you know I'm not one for intros. So we're going to get ready to talk about three subjects here that I particularly think that should be talked about. I think it's something that should be said at this time. A lot of drama that has been going on for the last couple of days. But yeah, if you like the content, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is in the Jumbotron or whatever you want to call it. It's in this Twitter space. Also, you want to follow the Twitter space, the Twitter space as well, or the Twitter handle as well. You can go ahead and do that. That's all available right now. So we got a lot of different topics to talk about. Very simply put, these are some things I wanted to discuss here, which is The Witcher, CyberPunk PS5 upgrade or next gen upgrade if you're not a PlayStation fan, new God of War details, and then the grand finale. That is Jim Ryan versus Phil Spencer and the ongoing public drama. This is so ridiculous, man. Like I keep saying this, and I see that there's people in this space. There's always the same kind of rhetoric where drama is the thing that actually people want to talk about. I don't want to talk about games. That's okay. So I won't go there. Starting off with God of War, right? No, is it God of War? Let me see. What am I talking about? No, The Witcher. Okay, so I'll list some things about The Witcher. Let me just say this. First and foremost, before we even go in there, as I was making this topic and stuff like that, a couple things on my actual news feed pops up. And they were talking about, Queen Elizabeth has died and all these other people. And I'm like, I thought she already died. I thought she already died. Like, isn't she like 180? You know what I mean?
96, bro.
No, I know she's 96. I was like, what?
What?
When I saw it, I was like, what? Oi.
Sorry to interrupt. I had to hit you with the what.
I did see that. Everybody was like, oh my God, she died. I'm like, this chick is old as shit.
Yep. Crazy.
I was expecting, honestly, because when people are married for such a long time, they die like right one after another. And she died almost like a year after her husband. And I was like, damn, that goes to kind of show you they didn't really have like a really close tie together. You know what I mean? Like they weren't really that invested. She just did her wife duties or marriage duties and kept it the fuck moving.
Yeah, he was a trophy husband. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like, she had shit to do.
she only died because she was old. Like I don't know
Yeah.
that. Apparently that was a shock to people. They were like, "What the hell? She died." I'm like, "No shit."
Yeah, I don't know why everyone's shocked. She's 96, bro. Like, come on.
Good ass life, and she didn't look healthy.
Yeah,
And anyway,
great life.
she was pampered like a motherfucker. I've seen some 96-year-old people that they were with it. But anyway, we got a couple of different things to talk about. Like I said before, I know I'm repeating myself, but I have to. Usually, I have to reiterate. And I'm getting better at this shit, little by little. So, 3 subjects. Basically, CD Projekt Red are updating their most recent games, which is The Witcher 3 and CyberPunk. Then you have the new God of War details, and then the big fucking divorce court type fucking debacle. Who keeps the kid type subject? I don't know, man. That shit is ridiculous. So let's begin on The Witcher. Now, there's a lot of people that told me to play. Yo, what's going on, Stonewood? It's good. A lot of people told me to play The Witcher, man, and I was just like, I'm too black for The Witcher. You know what I mean? Like, I can't relate to these white folk. Like, I don't know, man. You know what I mean? Like, it's cold shit, But honest to goodness, like, I played The Witcher a long time ago, like such a long time ago. And one of the things that I didn't like, one of the biggest things I didn't like, is I really hate it. Their interface. Their interface was horrible. Too many items all over the place. Don't know what does what. Just the lore of the game. It wasn't the actual way that the story was presented. It was really, the story is presented. Now I'm playing it again. It's one of the best out there. It's Masterclass, but like the lore and the enemies out there, the fucking combs. I'm like, what do I do with all these combs and brushes that I keep finding? You know what I mean? And I'm like, do I loot these things? I don't want to steal things from these people's houses and shit. Like, what do I do here? So, come to find out, you're supposed to steal people's shit, because how else are you going to get money for their extremely convoluted upgrade system? You know what I mean? I'm like, this whole system is ass. The combat system isn't bad, but when you have to go through so many layers of trying to upgrade your character, and it kind of plays low key, high key, but high key, low key, it kind of plays like RPG, but action game, but RPG, but action game. It's like it's around there. So,
do you not think, just to add on to that, like, is that not a CD Projekt issue? Because,
well, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, go on.
Now, since like myself, I played The Witcher when it first launched. But obviously, I played Cyberpunk as well, and I had the same vibe when I first started playing Cyberpunk. I'm like, man, why is this so cumbersome? It just feels so. I don't know. Obviously, they're trying their hardest to be RPG, but at the same time, it's like, bro, this is way too. I think it's like they're overthinking it. They're overthinking the process of turning it into an RPG and an action game. I don't know if you got that vibe or what.
No, it is. There's some RPG elements that are really there, but there's some things that you just kind of throw in there, and hopefully some, like, it's like padding almost, but not padding to extend the gameplay, but to make it look more complicated than what it is. Yo, Stone, what happened? How'd your car get? Whose car got flipped over like that? I said, what the hell is going on, Thrash? By the way, what's up? I'm like, car is flipped over, but yeah, you actually put you made a good point, because Cyberpunk is also like that, with a whole bunch of items that have lore to it that does nothing. But at least you can like find it in the trash and shit like that. Like, I got a still thing for people, and I don't know how that sits with me. And you definitely told me, this is what you told me. You said play The Witcher 3 when after it comes out. I'm cool with that, because CD Projekt Red would allow for me to move that save game over. So I'm not really upset or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I wanted to say this. Yes, The Witcher 3 is getting an update, but I hope people understand what that upgrade is going to mean. I hope people get it. You know what I'm saying? I hope people understand that upgrade is just going to be like maybe Shadows. just like it is in the in Cyberpunk. Do not expect ray trace everything like they have on the PC.
Yeah.
Maybe you get better textures. Maybe you get a 60 frames per second mode, but don't expect too much out of the ray tracing on these consoles. Not just yet. I don't know what the potential of the ray tracing could be outside of something that is so catered to the system. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, definitely.
Yeah.
No, sorry, like I was going to say, especially how they launched Cyberpunk originally. They can't launch this promising ray tracing, promising 60, promising this, and it launched a mess. I think essentially what they definitely have to launch with is 60 frames a second. Because if you look at Cyberpunk, the PS5 version, it's not graphically amazing, is it? Like, I've seen you play it, I play it. It's not graphically amazing.
On a PC or
no, on PS5.
No, it runs. It's just nice. I think it's nice,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I think it's more along art style. It's like really
compared to the PS4 version, it's night day. Because I had the PS4.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
And on PS5 it's much better. So I mean, if they can just give me, if they can at least give me that, I'm happy with that. With the Witcher update.
Right. No, and I think that's what the upgrade is going to be. It's going to be maybe you'll get some like high resolution shadows, maybe some better texture filtering for The Witcher. Definitely a 60 frames per second mode because that engine really isn't that great when it comes to 30 frames per second. There's a lot of input latency, but for so far so good when it comes to a person that's coming from a PlayStation exclusive and it's basically everything that I gotta put it technologically, all of the PlayStation exclusives are really ridiculous. They put a lot of shit to shame. They just do. The games just work. Whether you like the storyline or whatever the case is, the game just works. The gameplay is fucking flawless. The art styles are really good. It's hard to go from and I've said this before, it's hard to go from a PlayStation game, exclusive game, from, first party in-house to going to a third party game. It really is. And what CD Projekt Red did is pretty astonishing, for somebody that's not catering to a particular hardware, box and what have you. It's a lot easier to go from something that is completely tailored to the PlayStation 5 to something that's mass produced for all of the hardware. I'm playing Dying Light 2 as well, and yeah, these games look nice and they function decently, but they're no exclusive. I can tell you that. But CD Projekt Red is the closest thing that you can get other than Rockstar, but they haven't done anything for like 15 years.
I was just about to say, like, on the same level as, obviously, if it's not first party, I would say CD Projekt Red and sort of like a Red Dead 2. Those just evidence.
They're extremely close.
Yeah, they're extremely close to like first party quality, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, Red Dead. Actually, I forgot about Red Dead. You definitely reminded me of that. That's decent as well, and that's like it's not that many people like the Assassin's Creed. Their animation is poor. There's no motion blur, and here and there's always like nips and tucks, and it just looks like a third-party game that's been mass-produced. This one is the CD Projekt Red games. Whether you like or hate Cyberpunk, especially nowadays, you can feel the passion and the dedication within those titles. That being said, the problem with Cyberpunk, because they got a lot of the kinks out of there. You know what I mean? They even made like a 60 frames per second mode. They even have a ray trace mode, which when it comes to shadows, it's like, who the fuck cares? You know what I'm saying? I always want to notice these fucking shadows. But the police system is the thing that is really was hurting. And they said this was going to be this patch 1.6 for Cyberpunk. They said this was going to be the last one for the current old generation consoles. So from everything here on out, there's something called Phantom City, which I'm not sure what that's all about. They said that's going to be for the current generation and PC. Yeah. They also mentioned that it's going to be a complete overhaul of the police system, which is great. And they said there's going to be an overhaul vehicle-to-vehicle combat, which I'm kind of curious to see how that's going to kind of fare out. We'll see. We'll see. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to God of War as well. So we're going to go back to my little thread here and go straight to God of War and what they say was going to be. I feel like God of War there's some secrets. There's some secrets that Santa Monica Studios is hiding underneath the sheets on some real shit. I don't understand how they haven't said much of anything about this game. You know what I'm saying? It's like we got like 1 minute and 30 seconds of like chopped up gameplay. We don't necessarily know what's going on within this gameplay video. They are mentioning some things. I guess you could get the Game Informer shit because there's that. A question people brought up was, why is Sony not doing a state of play? Why are they going directly to Game Informer or these other like websites, even allowing like Paris to if you don't know who Paris is, he's a hardcore Xbox Microsoft actually fanboy. Obviously getting paid as a shill. That's fine. But they were like, why they were like, why are Sony giving this guy, these people, these games? Well, the PlayStation website and the PlayStation YouTube channel has 13 million people there, right? But you already know those 13 million people are pretty much for the most part, Sony PlayStation fans. What Sony is trying to do, this is what Jim Ryan's been doing, yo. This is why he's the fucking, like, this is why he's the head of the show here. Love it or hate it, we'll talk about soon. Love it or hate it, this is a smart fucking man. I hate it because his face is so punchable. It's
you
punchable.
have to hate to love it. Like, from a business point of view, like, we have to take our heart away from it now.
It's really,
dude's balling, but he knows what he's doing, man.
It's really hard. It's really hard and difficult. You know what I mean? Y'all seen that Last of Us preview before the game came out, and they were talking about the Last of Us 1, where they were talking about like the whole chippables, bro. Fucking chippable, punchable. This nigga, his face is chippable and punchable. I want to punch this face, but he's too fucking smart. He really is. But he's going to these people in particular, right? Because the fan base is not there. He is actively trying to expand the fan base, whether you hate it or love it. He's trying to expand the fan base to places where you won't normally find PlayStation. Like, you're not, Paris is saying all this shit, but it generates that type of, attention. So that's what's going on there. But moving on to God of War Ragnarok. They added a lot of accessibility features, right? Which I don't know what's going on with Sony. Maybe they're just trying to please the extremely vocal minority, people that are just running out and looking for shit to complain about. They're like, oh, we need a mode for blind people and a mode for people that don't have legs and arms. That's discrimination. We need modes for dead people too. That's discrimination against necro. Like, I can't, man. But
yeah, they're too much. Did you see that fund that they announced yesterday or the other day? There's some new initiative fund for I don't even know, man. PlayStation inclusivity. I don't even know what it is.
You're going to have to explain what that is, because I did see it.
I'll find it.
No, I know what it is. I saw it around, but did you pick up the vibe of what it was?
I rolled my eyes and scrolled right past that shit because I knew probably what that was. That's going to be no difference to that black Xbox initiative. It's the same sort of PC pleasing sort of things that all companies are doing at the moment.
I mean, people can get pissed off at me and be like, oh, look what they're talking about. They just some incels, they're bigots. It's not that. It's just some things. It's just, do we really need? I mean, honestly, I guess.
I like it if it's real.
No, I'm going to say it. Do we really need a Braille mode? Do we need a Braille mode for these games?
No,
you know what I mean?
Bro, like, come on, man.
They had like the control, the fucking because it's like, what's the percentage of blind people playing your games? And I wish I was joking, but apparently you could feel with the adaptive triggers, like how like Braille, where you can feel the talking in there, and I'm like, like, this is a visual audio piece of art. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe just have the whole, like, maybe just have the game be able to be voice acted throughout the entire thing, and then somebody something describes the, like, I guess audio cues is what they call it. Somebody describes the environment and what's happening, and just like it's like an audio book. But like, I guess maybe.
But listen, it's not bad to say this. Sometimes not everything is for everybody. That's not a bad take. Like, I don't understand how
All
we
these
came into this
games, all these
period
games
of
need to be rated E for everyone
it's just crazy
because
to me.
anyway. So here's what they got. They got 60 frames per second modes and plus and more. So that means that there's the VRR mode, which is 120 frames, which we all know is not going to get there, but at least has the 60 frames per second mode. There's a high contrast mode for you blind motherfuckers out there, I'm pretty sure. And so you can decipher Kratos from the environment, stuff like that, like the colors pop. That's what I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the high contrast mode is. Audio cues versus in addition to the captions. That's what I was mentioning before. More elaborate text and icon sizes options, which is great. This is what that is right there. That is a PC centric option. We all know. I hope you know this shit. Ragnarok is coming to PC, but when you have PC, you can't have a monitor that you're trying to squint. You know what I mean? It's that shit that's going on in that case. That's what they end up doing. This auto pickup, which is interesting. Was there items? I guess in Horizon Forbidden West, they had like this auto pickup where there's no animation for your to pick up. Is this going to work for chests? Where you know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to look at the animation and stuff. Like I want to know. And
I
God of War,
think
by the
it's
way,
I
yeah,
think it's going to be a setting that you can toggle on and off. So
right,
you
right,
kind of
right. Just like Forbidden West, so like there's no pickup icons. Kind of like Ghost of Tsushima. If you played that, there
yeah.
was no pickup item for the loot that's in the world. I'm kind of not worried, but interested because it's like what kind of loot is in this game that will
Mm-hmm.
require you to auto pick up. I mean, I
Mm.
know when enemies, after you beat their ass, enemies drop items. But do you really need like an auto pickup? You just run over it? I mean, it's not like Kratos was slow to pick up these items. So I don't know, like, are crates? You know,
Maybe there's a new item system in place that we're just not privy to right now.
or maybe the game is a lot larger than we think it is. Maybe there's more types of loot that's like floating around. Maybe.
I definitely think there's something that we're just not seeing coming because the way that they've kept this thing under wraps. I mean, dude, like you said, it's launching literally what month and a half away,
It really
and
is. It really
and
is.
you know, I think it's going to be a mic drop moment because they're getting so much shit, so much flack, saying it's just DLC. I really think they're going to come out and be like, oh shit, this is actually different.
I
You know?
think gameplay, they're going to kill it. They're going to
Yeah.
kill it. And also they said the cam navigation assistance, which I don't know what the fuck that is. Camera navigation?
Sound like something from a Tesla.
Well, I think is the camera going to like face behind Kratos at all times? Is that what they're doing? It'd be interesting because they didn't even explain what it is. Maybe you have to go to Game Informer and buy it. I'm not that. I love the game. Don't get me wrong. I like the storyline, but I'm not going to pay money to get. I'm not that invested in it. Put it that way. Then they have auto platforming.
I try to go in as blind as possible as well. It's big games that I'm thinking, you know what, this is going to be huge. I want to go as blind as possible rather than, seeing all the coverage and
Right.
I don't know about you,
Right.
but that's me.
No, absolutely, absolutely. Then they have auto platforming, which see platforming. Like I don't understand these games where they do auto platforming when clearly it's a part of the gameplay. Like just fucking play yourself, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Is the game going to play itself? Are we doing
They
this
have,
now? Like what are we?
they have
Like
to be
what's
they have
this?
to be inclusive, dude.
Anyway, the controller visualization, I don't know what that is. I think that's the thing that they were talking about before, where the analogs, not analogs, they put the triggers vibrate. You can feel it, I guess. I don't fucking know. But regardless, it's welcome. It's the high, the graphic modes to me in an auto pickup is the thing that is interesting me the most, I would say. So there's that. Oh, what do you have to say about God of War? On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel about God of War?
Me, I'll probably say 8.5, 8.59, and the only reason why is because the first one, banger.
Because it's
See,
not Persona.
no. Well, listen, man, different game, different type of genre. But now, look, the first one was a banger. The second one's probably going to be a banger. And that's not, people can say, oh, how can you say that your opponent? Like, I know the quality that they bring out is good. The first one was good. I don't see why the second one wouldn't be good. Just a continuation. And sometimes that's not a bad thing. Like sometimes you got to look at things and think, you know what? If it's not broke, why are we trying to fix it? And
Oh, because of the trolls that are looking at animation cycles from the same person
yeah, those trolls need to get a life, bro. Like,
from a sequel that literally is taking place a week later. Like you're supposed to have a new running animation cycle. I presume. I don't know.
yeah. It's just crazy. And for me, I just think, you know what? I'm looking at between now and the end of the calendar year, dude. It's the biggest thing coming out. Of course, I'm excited for that shit. Of course. Put it this way, they're gonna have to do more things that are wrong to make it a terrible experience, because it's gonna be at worst decent, you know. So I think that's a
I
good
will say
position to be in.
this: they mentioned a couple of things that were very positive and something that will definitely benefit um, anybody that has any kind of concerns with the game. For starters, they mentioned that they are actively working on a variety of enemies in this game, which was a huge issue in the
Yeah,
first
so you don't
game.
have the same ones.
Huge
Yeah,
issue
same stale enemies. Yeah, constantly
where they
recycled.
where they where they just doing color swaps and stuff like
Yeah,
that. So like maybe it was for inclusion. I don't know, but regardless, they said that they have different enemies. You know what else too? I think one of my own personal criticisms is that God Kratos is not as violent as he was, and then the ponies go out and they're like, "Oh, he's not as violent because he is his son. He isn't shut the ass up." He could have said, "Avert your eyes." Y'all make all these excuses for these fucking PlayStation games. Y'all make all the exclusives. I mean, I'm sorry, all the excuses. Excuse me for the exclusives. But what about Joel and Ellie? Ellie was like 14 years old, yo, and this motherfucker was bashing niggas' heads and on the
hmm
corners of fucking tables and shit like that. You know what I mean? Motherfucker is beating people with 2x4s with scissors taped on that shit. I didn't say nothing about this dude. But all of a sudden, Kratos, a god of war, is opposed to a virtualized boy. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like, come on, bro. Like, you know. But the thing was, I saw him killing live animals or live, and yes, everyone that talks about this, right, they always say Kratos still the same Kratos because he took a werewolf and he ripped his jaw off and it pulled that shit down. He peeled that nigga like a banana. Yeah, you're right, he did, but that was the only enemy. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the times it's like, I mean, that was a werewolf, but for the humanoid animals or humanoid beings, it never really, like, they always had like lava or water coming out of them or whatever the case is, whatever it was. They had that shit going out. And now they have like these frog looking things where he's killing them and there's blood splatters and shit. So I'm here for it. Yes, I'm a violent motherfucker, man. I want to see the blood and gore. If you guys can accept that shit from The Last of Us Part 1 and 2, should leave me the fuck alone. I want God of War to be bloody.
100%. 100%. Dude, like this, I don't know why we're trying to get like these games that are rated
Fucking
18
God
and
of
mature.
War.
They're not
You still
seen.
hiding shit.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, oh, I don't know, bro.
Well, I told you before, as long if you're in some sort of marginalized group, then it's okay. But if you're a regular person, then you have to start hiding things. That's why, like I said before, The Last of Us, you know, they they're impervious to this. Anyway, so that's what I can see here. They also talked about the verticality and the levels. We don't know how the levels of verticality will be unless you get the Game Informer situation, which I was like looking at a small clip of the trailers and shit like that. And I was like, okay, I see what they're doing. And you can kind of tell about the verticality. Yo, what's going on? What's going on, Fatal? You can tell about the verticality that they have going on in the trailers, which is pretty cool. What I would have liked is wide open spaces, you know, and townspeople, which you can kind of see in the trailers that there's some sort of town people that were walking around and shit like that, which was interesting. I was like, okay. See, you're trying to expand in the universe and stuff instead of, you know, having a narrative reason for why there's
So
no humans
I don't
here. You
think
know,
I don't think that, me personally, I don't think they're gonna be huge sort of detailed towns per se. I think the towns we might sort of come across might be similar to, you see how in Zero Dawn, the difference between Zero Dawn and Forbidden West. So the little settlements in Forbidden West is so much more fleshed out than the first one. So I expect that to be a similar case with this one, if that makes any sense. But
Well, the
they won't
narrative
be
reason,
detailed like RPG towns, but they will be, you know.
the narrative reason for God of War and not having people walking around was because I think they all got sick or died or something of that nature. You know what I mean? And that's what was going on. I can't remember. I haven't played that shit in a long time, but that was
Are you
its reasoning.
gonna do another playthrough before the second one comes out? Or are you just gonna jump straight in, personally?
Which one?
Are
I
you
was
gonna
already
play
playing
through
it.
it again?
No. I learned by playing Horizon Zero Dawn. I don't want to play the same type of games or similar games back to back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to I want to start off fresh. Just it's too much of the, because it's a sequel, so you know what you're getting.
Yeah.
I want to have the greatest impact. When I play the game. That's what I'm looking. That's what I'm looking to do. So that's my reasoning. But yeah, so there you have it. You have the Witcher news, right? Which they're going to upgrade the Witcher, most likely 60 frames a second. I wouldn't look too deeply into the ray tracing aspects. And for Cyberpunk, CD Projekt Red heard your cries about all the people that said that the police system was ass. They said that the AI system, you could not port that over to current generation or last generation consoles. But I think you could. I am. I think you could. It's just, it was a lot of fucking effort. I don't think the juice wasn't worth the squeeze to make it work. And I'm glad that they're focusing on there. The same thing with Sony. Sony is like, because you could tell, looking at The Last of Us Part 1, other than high resolutions, and they were talking about chippables, lunchables, dinnables, and whatever the fuck they were talking about. Other than that, I think that game was a PS4 game, and it was going to be released for the PS4, but they were like, not that many people buy the PS4 variants of these games. And then we gotta market it as something that's the ground up, so it can make people buy the shit. You know what I mean? That's what I think, low key. I think it was 100%. A PS4 game. It doesn't, because it shouldn't look that similar to The Last of Us Part 2 if you're on new hardware. And the loading times is kind of like a dead giveaway. Yeah. They're not using the SSD like that either. So
you can definitely tell that halfway through development, they're like, actually, we make it PS5 only. You can tell.
But most PlayStation fanboys are going to get mad at me and be like, "Oh, yes, it is the best looking game I've ever seen in my life. The developer said so, so it is." Okay.
Listen, we both love PlayStation, but half these niggas in denial, bro. You know this.
Yeah, I see that shit all the time. They show screenshots of The Last of Us Part 1. They're like, it looks so much better than the first one. For real? Like, everybody know I like Horizon, the series Horizon, but Jesus Christ, right? The hater to love it. The first Horizon looks horrible compared to Horizon Forbidden West. I shouldn't say horrible, that's too strong. But it looks significantly better. Stark
difference, yeah, 100%. You can't deny.
You know what I'm saying?
Undeniable.
It's more dense. The character models is crazier looking. That's a decent size upgrade and stuff like that. How the fuck did I get on that?
I don't understand that people that tell me that both Horizons look exactly the same. I'm like, are you kidding me?
I think low key the art style for what do you call it? The Last of Us is a little different. There's a more realistic tone to The Last of Us Part 2 than The Last of Us Part 1. And I have a friend that is a diehard Last of Us fan, and he ended up saying that shit. He was like, you know what? Not gonna lie to you, but this, just say, he didn't want to say it because he knew the backlash you'll get because there's too many rabid fanboys, really. You know what I'm saying? And look, here's the thing. People gonna get mad, but I want you to understand this. Don't come at me talk about I'm an Xbox fanboy or neutral until you see that I have Sony speakers in my fucking car, a Sony head unit in my car, a Sony Xperia phone that I'm using to broadcast the shit, Sony computer. Don't come at me talking about fanboy.
Your channel used to be called All Things Sony, I think. Did he? Am I right?
It was. Because I was going to talk about like I was going to talk about like a lot of different Sony products, and then I realized that there was a lot of people that were doing it, and I was like, it's going to convolute things. Make it simple. That's the only reason why I didn't. But a lot of people don't know that I'm a huge like. Don't come at me with your PlayStation 4 and 5 only, and the only other PlayStation you had was a PS1. You skipped it and went to the 360, and then you came back to PlayStation on the PS. Don't come at me unless you have all of the fucking Sony consoles, the PSP and the Vita, and you're using a fucking Xperia phone, and you fucking using Sony head unit. Don't come at me. Talk about I'm riding a wave or whatever the case is. I'm an honest fan. That's what I am. Ain't nobody disingenuous in this bitch. Just putting it out there. Do not come at me with that shit. Now, since we have gotten that out of our system, we are going to talk about the meat and potatoes, man. We're gonna go straight for the jugular in this bitch and talk about the last topic, which is Jim Ryan versus Phil Spencer, right? So let's take a look at the quotes that was made in this public dispute of this divorce and who gets the kids. That's what it looks like to me. This shit looked like who gets the kids type shit. Like it looked like a whole ass divorce. So I'm gonna pull this shit up. Here we go. Keep hearing people keep backing out and going in and backing out. Fuck. Sit your ass down. Anyway, Jim Ryan stated this because there was a lot of misconception, by the way. People were actually upset with Sony because they were trying to block or deter Microsoft from buying a $68 billion publisher and keeping everything for themselves. Now, this is competition. But for some reason, you got some Xbots that were sitting there stating that, well, I mean, I thought you wanted Microsoft to compete. This is not competition. So to compete is to create something to combat a product or a thing. They didn't create anything. They just bought it. That's not competition. That's number one. Number two, there's a lot of Xbots that think that PlayStation fans are somehow jealous or upset or butthurt about Microsoft getting their W and that they were going to get Call of Duty exclusively. I can guarantee you, y'all motherfuckers, y'all Xbox people, I guarantee you, y'all don't play Call of Duty.
Facts.
Y'all probably don't even play the console, truthfully, low key. You probably just play Twitter.
Bro, anything that's been acquired, they've never played it. They only started playing it when they got acquired. It's the same with the Bethesda stuff. They weren't playing that. Who was talking about that stuff?
Nobody was talking about that shit. As a matter of fact, there's been many tweets of Xbots, right, that really contradicted their past quotes. And I think Kid Smooth was one of them that was saying that Bethesda games are ass and shitty up until the point where Microsoft purchased that that publisher. Then all of a sudden it was the best thing since sliced bread.
That's what I'm saying. These guys, man.
But I will give this to Kid Smooth though. This motherfucker be playing games. He does. He does. I get it.
I'm joking that. I'm saying like, yeah, he plays games, but he plays like Power Jet Wash. You know that thing with like Jet Wash Simulator.
But he plays it.
Yeah.
Unlike other people that sit there and make
things to prove a point. He plays it. Oh look, this is on Game Pass. So I'm gonna play it.
Look, however way you want to slice this shit, he plays games. He does.
Yeah.
I can't even get mad at homie because
I think I know. Crazy, I like him.
I will say this. He plays it. I give him credit. I give him credit for sure. There's other people out there. I can't think of the dude's name. He's a chubby ass black dude with glasses.
Oh, I know who you mean. I know exactly who you mean. I don't know his name, but I know who you mean.
I think he's an older black dude that's like in his 50s. Then the last time he played was like 1997 is the last time he played a console game. I don't know, something like that. But he's always in the mix. He's always in the mix talking about, he has all these tweets and shit like that, talk about, PlayStation fans wanted this to happen. They wanted the competition. And when Microsoft finally competes, then there's a problem. You know what I'm saying?
It's not compete, man, is it? It's not. If they would have made that from the ground up, let's just say that Halo Infinite took the world by storm and it was fucking amazing. That's competing. You acquiring one of the biggest third parties on the planet and then saying, "Oh, look, we're competing now." That's not competing, bro.
Oh shit! So there's somebody by the name was like, "Pony's crying. Y'all don't even play games." And then that's not what we meant by competition. I want you to understand, Aaron, that there's a lot of people that's on Twitter that really don't play games.
Nope.
And their gamer tags or whatever the fuck they use to quantify it shows it. We're not even talking about you completing games. We're talking about actually playing a game that you're repping. And a lot of the times it doesn't even show that you own the game. That's what we're talking about. They really don't play games. Like, there's so many pieces of evidence that states that there's a lot of ex-bots that do not play games. They used to play games back in, I don't know, 2008 and 9, and back then, maybe they're older and they have family and they can't play games as much, but they still want to be caught up in it. Maybe their fucking muscles and fingers and joints atrophy, so they really can't play it, but they still want to be a part of the system. I don't fucking know. All is that their gamer tag hasn't been used since 2011.
You know what it is? Sick Humor said something a few months ago. It was so real. He said half of these dudes on here, they talk about other people's experiences like it's their own. They talk about it so much that they start to believe that someone else's experience is theirs. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, I played that. You haven't played nothing, bro. You've heard it on a podcast or something.
Well, you can't even say that though, because Sick doesn't know if you're doing it or not, unless he has got a proof.
Yeah, true.
But I will say that there is proof that people literally are talking about games every single day with spaces that are 2, 3, 4 hours on Twitter. And the last time they logged into the Xbox was sometime in 2019. Yeah, that shit is quantifiable, and you're not really playing any games in that case. Now, going back to competition, like I said, you buying the competition isn't competing. Like when McDonald's was created, whoever created Burger King made that store from the ground up, and doesn't matter how they did it, they made it. They didn't go and buy McDonald's.
Yeah.
There was Wendy's, there was Checkers, there was fucking other competition too, like Chick-fil-A. They all made their own thing to compete that would combat it. McDonald's have their user base. Burger King has theirs, et cetera, et cetera. That's how you compete. Not only that, but like you're gonna make Call of Duty, and then a lot of these people don't even play Call of Duty. But let's say they did. Call of Duty was a multi-platform title. So even if they actually bought it, it's not like a new IP. We still were able to enjoy it. So is that really competition if someone just took it over and you still get to play it? Do your guys really consider it to be competition if that's the case?
Well, yeah, they do, because dude, you have to think, for certain people, right, it's like sports teams. So either they support Xbox or they support PlayStation. So for them, a win's a win, bro. If they acquire a company, that's a win. That's a W. That is the competition. We beat you. I know that sounds crazy.
I know it is what that is what's happening. It is crazy.
Do you know what I mean?
I mean, I'm the kind of person. I'm a clear-headed fan. I will say that I'm a clear-headed fan. To be perfectly honest with you, Aaron, I don't play Call of Duty. I have never owned a Call of Duty in my life. I couldn't care less what happens to the franchise. They could say this is the last Call of Duty. I wouldn't even bat an eye. But there's a couple of things that need to be said about Call of Duty before you even read what Jim Ryan said about the situation. And that was the sales has declined after 2009. Or after Modern Warfare 2, excuse me. It's been lower. They used to do 30 million. Now they do 16 million. And this is the time that Microsoft picked them up. You know what I mean? And Microsoft clearly stated that they wanted if anyone wanted their IPs, right? Game Pass had to be a part of the package. Obviously, Sony doesn't want to do that, and obviously, Game Pass will devalue the game itself.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's we're not see me being a logical fan, right? That way of thinking applies across the board. I don't just say, oh, if you release PlayStation exclusive games on PC, you devalue it. I think it devalues it altogether. These subscription services aren't it, because guess what? You pay for the subscription services, fine. We're not even going to talk about the money that's involved. But there's another type of currency that you need to worry about, and it's going to be time. You only have so many hours in a day to play all these fucking games, and people want to play a specific game, and they don't want their time divided like that. So there's that too. When you have subscription services, you have all these games, and people don't have the time to play it. You hit a cap where there's only a certain amount of human archetypes. So all the archetypes cover the amount of catalog or the genres you cover, and then from that point on, you start repeating the type of games within those particular genres. So only the best of the best bubbles up, and then you're going to have to pay for those other games that are not getting to play. It's just straight up this logic to me. That's your definition of competing, and then buying studios when people want the games from is a form of competition. Once you admit that, maybe you'll stop crying. Okay. The games weren't released on another console. That's the problem. The games weren't released on another console. It wasn't taken. You didn't take it away once you already got a taste of it. It never was released.
This is why I don't agree with the comparison of Final Fantasy that I see with COD, because realistically, yeah, some Final Fantasy titles are on Xbox, but not like the regular ones. Do you know what I mean? So you can't really compare and say, oh, ponies want COD, but we want Final Fantasy. It's like, bro, it wasn't on there anyway.
Well, here's the thing, right? Even because there was the Final Fantasy 13 that was on the Xbox 360. All right, cool. The problem here, right, is that you motherfuckers didn't buy it. That was an executive decision by Square Enix to not put that shit. To not put that shit on the console and invest development time in buying that fucking what do you call it? That development kit and whatever comes along with that development kit. You know, and they get a perk for keeping it on the console. But the split for Final Fantasy was something like what 90-10 or some wild number. It comes a point where they're like, they're not buying it on the console. It's not even a point. But here you have and again, I stress to you, you guys can keep it. Put Call of Duty on there and keep it there. I want you to. The only reason why this is the topic of conversation is not Call of Duty. It is the discourse between you and I. People like you think that I care about Call of Duty being on the console.
Yeah.
Or not being on the console. I don't care.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to. That's what I'm trying to get. That's why I'm trying to.
At one point.
Hold on. Wait. Hold on. That's why I'm making this comment. I don't care. That's the point.
I get that.
I'm just making a conversation. Not crying because I want it, but it's a very interesting conversation to see you guys are biting your nails and scrambling for rhetoric about a W that never really was a W.
Yeah.
You guys are scared about Call of Duty being multi-platform. I don't give a fuck if it is or isn't. I don't. Go on, Dan.
No, I was gonna say, like, similar thing. I don't really care. I don't care at all about COD, to be fair. But dude, it's huge on PlayStation, and for me, it's so big. It's like Spotify saying, you know what, we're only gonna have Drake. Drake's only available on Spotify now. He's on Apple Music. He can't be anywhere else, just Spotify. Loads of people don't like Drake. A hell of a lot of people do like Drake. I mean, so like just putting it on one platform makes no sense, irregardless. Irregardless if you like it or not, if I like it or not, millions and millions and millions of people clearly do. Has it been in a decline? Yes. But at in the same token, it needs to stay on the platform. That in particular, that product, that IP needs to remain on that platform.
I will say this before I
Definitely.
let I will say this because I know somebody wants to talk here. I think is DJ. But before I let you go, DJ, I just want to say this. Not putting it on PlayStation will hurt Call of Duty more than it will hurt PlayStation. I can tell you that because there's always
100%.
Fortnite.
100%.
And Fortnite isn't not in the decline, and there's all these other fucking games. We're not even talking about exclusives. If you remove Sony shit all away, there's other games that people could play,
Shout
and
out
it just
Destiny 2.
or Destiny 2 or 3 or whatever the fuck comes out. I promise you, if they take it away, it's gonna hurt Call of Duty more so than it will hurt PlayStation. But I stress this, Dan, as well as Aaron, it's not that I'm saying take it. I'm saying I don't care if it is. I want to stress the fact that I'm not I don't have a stake in caring. I just don't.
I agree.
I just like the conversation. The conversation is ridiculous because you got people that love Xbox that think that we're afraid. I would think that a regular fan is afraid. I don't play the games. DJ, what's up, man?
What's up, three? I'm just this is where I'm at with it. I bought everything, and I feel like that's why we're grown. I feel like everybody, if you want to play Call of Duty, because this is business at the end of the day, and I don't subscribe to the console wars. I was in a space earlier, and I was trying to let everybody know, is bro, this is the future. They trying to make everything a live service game. They're gonna be single player games, but you're gonna see less and less of those because people like to be social. People like to get on with their friends. They like to, uh, get on chat, get on, maybe get on Space, get on Discord, and they like to have a good time. They like to, make smoke, drink, whatever they're gonna do, have a snack, have a meal, gather around and play or watch other people play on stream. So they're trying to make the future of video gaming more social. This is why I forgot that game they showed doing Summer Games Fest, where it's going to be like Ready Player One, GTA esque, and it's going to be on PC. Then you got, of course, the metaverse and stuff like that, because they're trying to give people these live service experience because they want to keep getting money. And so what it is everybody is so hung up on Call of Duty. Call of Duty is still going strong and everything. It was getting ready to fall off, but because of esports, it breathed new life into it. Same thing with 2K, Madden, because there is an esports community and because gaming is bigger than life now. They're trying to make this be a multi-billion dollar commodity that never stops printing money. We're not just even talking about the games, the battle passes, and everything else like that. And people be calling me crazy about it, but I said the same thing. I said when the online passes and the loot boxes got taken away, they gonna find a way to keep getting money out of people because they saw what happened with Steam and with Valve with
Mm-hmm.
what was that, Team Fortress 2. They saw that what happened with that while people were still playing that. People were modding in and everything else, and then they came with the paid mods. When they came with those paid mods and those the crossovers and stuff that they had, the limited time modes and all of that for Team Fortress 2, that was when I said, okay, this is when it's finna pop. And everybody called me crazy 5, 10 years ago, whatever the case may be. But everything I said came to pass, and we got to get off of being so console focused, and the focus needs to be more, if they're going to be the more live services, these games need to be more feature rich. The campaigns need to be a little bit longer. I should be able to get, like they did it with I believe they did it with Call of Duty Modern Warfare, where you got XP going through the campaign and playing it on harder difficulties and finding certain stuff in the level. It needs to be interconnected. The multiplayers need to have more features and more more varied content. Same thing with GTA. Like if GTA 6, if they talking about, the rumor is, all right, the single player is going to evolve along with the multiplayer, and the stuff is going to tie in with
Yeah.
the with it needs to tie in tandem. See, it's not a call. I'm not mad if Microsoft is taking those games and taking the Bethesda games off the table, because what's gonna happen is Sony gonna have to step up. All that you just it's good that it happened, because now Jim Ryan, it'll be a wake up call. Make PlayStation Plus Premium and PlayStation Plus what's the other one? I got Premium. I don't know the
Extra.
middle tier. Extra. Make that be on par with Game Pass.
Well,
Pull
before
out
you
all
before
of
you
the
go
games.
on, hold on, DJ.
Go
Before
ahead.
you go on,
Go ahead. 3. Because I'm finna
here,
preach.
look. I'm gonna say this, right? Um, here's the problem. These subscription services none of them are really doing that well. Doesn't matter where you go, whatever corner of the world you talk about, that's about to pop too, and it's already popping. I just got a fucking email about Hulu raising their prices again to $15 yo, and it's like, you guys, anybody that promotes subscription services should stop. Period. That is fucking extra. That is premium. That is Game Pass. Here's the problem. Just like with Apple was a trendsetter. And what Apple ended up doing was fucking up the cell phone industry. They did that shit. They made things more walled garden, right? They it's like 2 steps forward and 1 step back. More walled gardens, right? Then they had a crazy ass fucking notch, and they didn't even want to actually push that forward in terms of like screen technology. Then they took away the headphone jack, right? Then they took away the fucking chargers in there and all these proprietary things. All these people are chasing Apple and what they're doing, to the point where if you want a Galaxy or any other fucking Android phone, you're not going to get no fucking charger. You got to pay for that shit separately. These phones are like $1,000 fucking dollars. Subtops $1,300, like the one I just paid for. And the thing is, you shouldn't want that trend, because what happens is Netflix is the trend of subscription services. They just keep raising and raising and raising their prices, and guess what? Hulu's second place. They're looking at that shit like, oh, if they can raise it, oh, did they get backlash? Oh, they didn't get backlash? Okay, bet. I'm gonna raise my shit too. That's what's gonna happen. If you think that Game Pass is going to be $15 forever, you're an idiot.
No way. No,
we know that,
but there's somebody out there that thinks there's going to be $15. If it does raise up, it's going to be in the next fucking 5 to 10 years. You dumb.
It's unsustainable, bro. We had this conversation about 2.5 years ago, and I can vouch for you. You said, look, this is unsustainable. Look at Netflix. They're the leading marketer in streaming and subscriptions. Bro, they've never made any money.
I think, hold on. I think what it is you got competition. And I think that I would honestly say with those streaming services, I think it is sustainable, because competition got to get fiercer. And I would rather much, if let's just say $30 a month, I would rather pay $30 a month, like for Game Pass or even Netflix, just as long as the quality is there. When you don't have any quality, like what HBO Max is doing, killing all the stuff we was like looking forward to, right? Then I have to.
It's not sustainable. The problem here, let me say this. The problem here is this: people keep forgetting that time is also a fucking currency.
Yeah.
If they give you a ton of shit and just say, "Plap, here you go," you have all these games to worry about. See, the thing about human nature is that humans don't typically like choices. They want somebody or something, they want it to be easier. And when you give somebody a billion fucking choices, they choose nothing typically. Or they choose what the status quo is. And you got to understand that, wait, if you have 15 games under your umbrella, 15 games that are going that are you could choose from, right? And you only like this particular game. You still have to make money to create those other 14 titles. So what happens is, because of efficiency purposes, one of these 15 games or multiple of these 14 games rather have to go and fuel the only big title that everybody is downloading. It's because no one has that much time. There's certain genres that do better than other genres. What were you going to say, DJ?
Oh, yeah, go on. Sorry, DJ.
Oh, well, I mean, what I was going to say is you're right, but I'm going to say this. It works for people who are like parents, people who don't have a whole lot of money, because I still buy games, and I ain't gonna. I'm be real with y'all. I'm not where I want to be financially. I'm cool right now, but I know I got work to do myself, and I feel like with the subscription services, it gives you a lot of those games, and it saved me a lot of money on Xbox. Like, it actually, it's helped the sales of a lot of the Xbox games. Like, I was mad that when the Halo rumor came out about getting the campaign early, which honestly, Call of Duty's getting ready to do, I was mad because I would have paid $30 extra to get that campaign early, and I'm still going through it. Like, I've been taking my time doing all the side quests and getting all the most wanteds and getting the weapons and stuff like that. It's been helping me with the boss battles and everything. And so I feel like if they gotta find the sweet spot, and I feel like Netflix, they was the king in the castle, but then the economy rose as well as the competition. It's gonna get to, I'm gonna say it right now, it's gonna be like all the subscription service should be at least 25, $30 a month, and people will pay that if the content is there. Now, if the content ain't there, like with PlayStation Plus Premium, I got it because it's gonna be some games that come out, like when they throw Kia on there. I might wait, get Forspoken. A lot of the games, I'm still catching up on my backlog. So a lot of these games that's coming out, once they 6 months, 12 months, even 18, whatever, I'll go back and play those games. You know what I'm saying? But it's gonna do well. The streaming era is gonna keep doing well. It's on a decline right now, but it's like the stock market.
Only the best of the best of the best of the best
is
of
gonna
the best
last. It's
was
gonna
last. And that's what's going to happen. So I'm going to say this, right? Because Aaron mentions this, because I'm going to tell you this. I don't think Game Pass is it. The way that they have it, it's going to go through a crazy ass metamorphosis to the point where it's probably going to be in line with what PlayStation is doing anyway. Reason why I'm saying that is because releasing games day and date, like I said, there's a lot of money that's going to be wasted trying to do that, and having everybody jumped out. You got to make a lot of money, and Microsoft has been known, because the games that let me ask you a question, because you seem more Xbox centric before I start reading these YouTube messages. You have a PlayStation?
Yeah, I'm actually I prefer PlayStation more. I like the interface more. I grew up with PlayStation. I got into Xbox at the tail end of the 360 because I love playing Halo, and I got tired of, like, my cousins moved away and they had the Xbox, right? So I didn't get to see them as much, so I had got a job. I started working in like 2012, 2013. I bought an Xbox 360 for like $150 when they had that.
So let me ask you, what was your most recent game that you downloaded on Xbox Game Pass?
Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
Ninja Turtles, and I got As Dusk Falls. I had waited because I just got my streaming set up, so I'm about to start playing some more of those, like, on the weekends, because right now we're like the clan that I'm part of, GOW. We're like where we at 38 as far as the clans in Call of Duty right now. So and then L Streets, she's like our CEO, CFO. She just got sponsored by 2K, so we're getting ready to play 2K on PlayStation and Xbox. I got it on PlayStation. My boy Sale, my boss, he's playing it on Xbox. So I'm on PlayStation more because that's where I had Call of Duty, but I do get on. I play Forza on Xbox, Halo on Xbox Series X, and my boy actually from college, he actually has a PS5 that he's selling for like $350. So I'm about to see if I can scoop that up, just in case, because it's harder to find a PS5. So if something happens to mine, I got an extra. or I might sell it, for retail or whatever. Who knows? But he's getting ready.
So
He's getting ready to get a Steam Deck.
so let me ask you, what was the last Microsoft exclusive that you downloaded from Game Pass?
Forza. That was the last. Well, no,
See.
Halo technically, but Forza, and then those Forza, Halo are my go-tos. And then what else do I play on there? Flight Simulator. I got the Top Gun. Like I made the flight from, because I'm in St. Louis, so I do like St. Louis to Chicago and back. I keep crashing halfway through. Like I almost had made it. Like, but I'm still trying to do that before I do the like a longer flight. But I keep crashing, and then I had like the Black Hawk, whatever that prototype that he had in Top Gun Maverick. I don't know if y'all seen that, but it's on
No, but I know what you're talking
Blu-ray.
about.
Oh yeah. So like, I don't want to spoil that, but if you get the free update, you get to fly that space. Well, it's not a spacecraft, but it's like a hybrid, so it can go up into like,
It goes to the
it can
edges
go.
of space.
Yeah, like the
Or the
stratosphere.
atmosphere, yeah.
So
Mhm.
yeah, so you pretty much you topping out above the clouds. So basically with that, I go in there and I do like I did the what was it the war not the Warthog, what's the thing from Halo? I did that update. What is the other ones that I played from Xbox? Like I played a little bit of Grounded. I played actually no, a little bit of Minecraft. I'm about to start Grounded now that they came out of early access. So it's a
Well, the
few
reason why,
Xbox games.
well, the reason why I say that is because I feel like Microsoft needs to step up their game when it comes to their outing, because there's some
Oh
high
yeah,
quality games online.
definitely,
So that's
definitely.
my whole point when I mention this shit is they need to do better, or else
But three, that's why they. But
or
that's
else
why
it
they
won't
bought
work.
Bethesda. But that's why they bought Bethesda and
But I
Activision, because
but I
now
but
they
I
can
get it
cook,
though. But the thing
and
is
they
though,
need help, and
but
they
the
need
thing
help.
is they're not that great at getting other studios and cultivating them. They don't have a good history at all when it comes to this.
Facts.
Before we go
But
on, wait,
that's
hold on. Before we go on, I'm gonna read this YouTube shit. Aaron says this. Apple innovated the cell phone industry. Know your history. Okay, that was a thing. Into it wasn't. Once people started buying their shit in droves, then they stopped being less innovative. There was no competition, which the fucking point I was trying to make. When you don't have competition, you get sloppy like this, right? There's no innovation at all. They were making stuff that was similar to Gorilla Glass. They don't want to spend money on it. Was the Sapphire glass that breaks extremely easy or cracks? That's all you see is chicks with broken ass fucking screens for iPhones. That's all the time you see. They don't even want to use that shit or use Gorilla Glass, something stronger, because that means they have to pay other people. Then he goes on and he says, you're blaming Apple for Google following the trends. He says, all your opinions are trash. I'm not blaming Apple for anything. I'm saying that they're trendsetters. If anything, I'm blaming Google for following the fucking trends. Apple, if you're going to be an idiot and buy their products and know that you're getting shafted, I mean, okay. That's okay. That's your prerogative. But I'm not blaming anyone at all. But if anything, if I'm going to blame somebody, it's Google for following those trends, because they consistently, especially Samsung, make fun of Apple and then follow the fucking trends anyway. Then he says services.
they both do it. They both do it. But go ahead.
Yeah, well, Apple tends to keep their nose clean when it comes to making fun of other. They don't need to, because
Oh yeah,
they're the
no, I'm talking
trendsetter.
about where Samsung will do like a certain feature, Apple will do it, and then they'll make it a little bit more user friendly. Like I feel like iPhones
Oh
are
yeah.
real user friendly. Yeah.
They fought tooth and nail to make a bigger phone. It was only when Steve Jobs died that they wanted to make a bigger phone. They thought there was no use for a bigger phone. You know what I'm saying? So they had that situation going on there. There was a lot of weird things that they didn't want to do, and they had to kind of do it anyway because of the trends that was going on. I'm saying positive trends for the industry. So you got to watch out what company that, try was good. Where have you been? So you gotta kind of what do you call it? You have to look at the company and see where they're going with it, and if they have the best interest for the market. Oh, Yowie, I remember you. No. This says be thankful for Apple for having the quality your Android phone aspires to be. Android phones have more features. She said, hell. Androids have more features than Apple for the longest time. The longest time.
In fact, I went from Apple. I went from Android to Apple, and then back to Android. I got a Samsung Note, and like as far as for gaming, the Note is like the best bet because they built the phone to take advantage of um, a lot of the games. They pre-built the phone with that in mind. You know, of course,
Mm-hmm.
productivity, but it's first and foremost. You know, for the people business oriented and everything else, and you know so. But the games like run way better and way more stabler, well not stable, but way more with way more stability on Android. Now I will say this: iPhone is way more secure. I gotta give Apple that. Like that's their
Absolutely
pride and
are.
joy is security. But
Mm-hmm.
man, I'm playing Call of Duty mobile on this mug, and it's like it's flying. I'm not getting any hiccups unless the connection is bad. But other than that, like it's amazing.
Yes, I don't know what he's talking about. Talking about some features. What features? That usually Android phones are way above Apple shit. They're the ones that slow. They didn't even want to have waterproof phones for the longest. You had to buy an outer box to prevent water from going in that bitch. Whereas
You right.
Android phones,
I
I
was
believe,
saying it's more user friendly. It's way more user friendly because it's
oh
more
no,
effective.
it is, and that's one of the things that's why there's a lot of science behind that one. But I'm gonna go into the quotes, and I want you to understand, like I said before, like again, competition is good. When you have competition, it's great. I want Microsoft and their CEOs and everybody else to really compete. They haven't really competed in house before, other than with Halo and Gears of War. Their time for competing was the 360, and then it stopped. Especially with the Xbox One era, I'm looking for in-house competition. When Sony, when Sega and Nintendo were going back, back and forth with each other, that was competition. They had to make something to trump the other one. But anyway, Phil Spencer says this. He says, I hadn't intended to comment on what I understood to be private business discussions, but I feel I need to set the record straight because Phil Spencer brought this into the public forum. This is what Ryan says. I love the pettiness of it. I love the sassy. What they call it again? Is it what they say in Twitter? Spicy, sassy. What? How do they say it?
Spicy.
Is it spicy?
That's what I'll be hearing online. Yeah, I think it's spicy.
I don't know. I don't know if it's spicy. I know it's. There's a lot of women that will say that if a guy says something that's kind of like sassy or some shit like that. I guess it's sassy. I like that sassy as I like sassy Ryan because here's the thing. What Phil Spencer typically does is he spins the narrative to make it look like he's really all for one. You know what I mean? And one for all type scenario. And the actions that they do contradicts that. He says that he wants everybody to game. Everybody.
On Xbox 3, it's just kind of like let's make no mistake. I'm gonna say this. I'm because I've been in the industry. I wasn't deep into the industry, but I was in it enough and I was close to it enough, bro. They talk like it is business. Like this the first time they really jumped out of like Jim Ryan jumped because he's new to this. He's not been around with what was the other guy that was on? I'm trying to remember the guy that was before.
Sean Layton?
Not Sean Layton. Before him, he was Jack Trent. There we go. Thank you. Because I forgot his name. It's a different Jack Trenton and Phil Spencer, all of these people, Reggie, like they're on record saying they hung out before the next generation. Like they compare notes, and it's still cutthroat. It's still business. It's still all of that. But they have like a camaraderie, and your boy Jeff Keighley and everybody. They have a camaraderie and an understanding that is we need to preserve this culture. So they are very much in tune now. They do a lot of anti-consumer stuff, but once it's enough heat, they pay attention. And Jeff Keighley will come out, and once he says something, then the whole industry kind of moves. Like with the whole thing with Kojima, and now you're hearing about these remakes that's gonna come with Metal Gear. You hear him possibly getting ready to come back. You hear all of that, and you know what I'm saying? It's because you have people who are persistently like trying to preserve the culture, but at the end of the day, it's still business. Like they still going. It's like a heated college football rivalry. Like there's a competition, but there's very much a camaraderie that exists in that culture.
I think what ends up happening is that they do get together to see who does what, to see what will push the industry in a certain way. But that's as far as it goes. I definitely believe that there's a certain direction that all of them want to go, and that's what they talk about. The problem here is that Phil Spencer must have undercut them in some particular way, and they did. Again, Jim Ryan and Sony in particular, when it comes to these business stuff, they're quiet. But this shit had to be like, okay, the villain is Sony because I wanted all these things. They said that with cross game play and all this other stuff, as if they were, there was a clear reason as to why Sony didn't want, the games to be cross platform when it comes to playing with each other and online, and that was the problem. It is something that they want the industry to go in a particular direction, but they're still competitors. So Jim Ryan says this. He says Microsoft has only offered the Call of Duty to remain on the PlayStation for 3 years after the current, and I've said this before about like 2 months ago, by the way, after the current agreement between Activision and Sony ends. And after almost 20 years of Call of Duty on PlayStation, their proposal was inadequate on many levels and failed to take account of the impact on our gamers. We want to guarantee PlayStation gamers continue to have the highest quality of Call of Duty experience, and Microsoft's proposal undermines this principle. What was going to end up happening is that probably if they did put Call of Duty onto the console, I would say that Microsoft would have first dibs on DLC or whatever the hell the case is. And it was going to cost more money, and that's cool. I'm not even mad at that. But Sony didn't want to do that, and they wanted to keep the negotiations behind closed doors. And that's not what it is, because there's more than one person, there's more than one company that looks at this as a problem. And Phil Spencer needs to align. They need to be honest with what they're trying to do for the public. If it's going to be put out there in public. You have a lot of different companies that are like, I don't want Microsoft to buy this shit at all. And of course, this is going to hurt Sony's bottom line in some particular degree, and they don't want this shit either. And it's up to Sony to deter, and the other companies to deter, and it's up to Phil Spencer and Microsoft to, prove their case that it's not going to hurt anybody if they do it this way. That's what's really going on. But the rhetoric, and what did I say? I think I put this on my Discord here. Everyone says that Microsoft is $1 billion company, right? And they are, right? And that's fine. There's no problem with them being $1 billion company. But the thing is, right? I said this before. Sony doesn't need Call of Duty, right? But they tried to strong arm Sony into putting Game Pass on their console, which they don't want, by using this dying franchise as leverage. So the thing is, when it comes to, especially in nature, the smallest animals can punch way above their weight when it becomes threatened. And this is one of those situations where Sony is much smaller than Microsoft. But Sony is going to fight. They're going to fight fucking dirty. They know that Call of Duty is not that big of a deal in terms of if they lose it or Microsoft get like first dibs, because it happened with PS3. Xbox and Microsoft had first dibs on all of the fucking DLC, and they would get it like a year or 6 months to a year later, and it didn't hurt that either. But since you are trying to undermine my shit, I'm gonna have to come at you hardcore. And that's what I believe is going on. I don't think that that's a problem. I will stand by saying this. Competition is good. If they want to take it this way and be like, okay, cool, I want Call of Duty to have these stipulations. Well, they got to explain to these people or whoever is this court why you want it this way. And is it going to mess up with the industry? That's all I have to say about it.
Before I got to get up out of here, I got to slide back into my grandmother's wake. But I just wanted to come through while I had slid out to get my haircut. Yeah, man. I don't know if you're recording. I don't want to drop it. Thank you, man. Thank you. I just wanted to slide through while I was at the barbershop. So I'm back over here now. Hey, Miss Anita. All right.
All right. Thank you for your input, man.
Yes, sir.
Take care. Damn, what you got to say about this before we close shop?
To be fair, the points are pretty much covered, man. Sorry, my mind's somewhere else. In the whole Jim versus Phil thing, I don't know really what to say, to be honest with you.
Say it again.
I don't really know how to twist it anymore. Like, for me personally, the arguments become tiresome, extremely tiresome.
Very.
End of the day, it's business moves making. It's businesses trying to make shitty moves. The contract was the contract. They tried to extend it by 3 years. Phil is always dancing to the tune of people pleasing. He's a people pleaser, so he'll say anything to look good. But the reality is, Jim had to say what he had to say this week. He had to say it because everyone.
And you gotta understand. And I'll say this too. People need to understand this. It's not that Jim Ryan ran to somebody. They wanted to keep this shit behind closed doors.
They asked, real, bro.
They asked Jim Ryan. Game Industries asked Jim Ryan about this. It wasn't Jim Ryan that was running complaining. It was like, well, since you are asking me this question, this is what's going on. Since they put our business out on Front Street and air their dirty laundry, this is what's going on. It was Microsoft that was causing all the stir, and it was this fucking this Brazilian situation that was putting out the transcripts of that what was going on. Sony wasn't complaining about this shit. This could have been not known by anybody.
Yeah.
Everybody went on with their day, whatever the case is. I knew this shit was fugazi when it wasn't finalized.
Do you think
as quickly as it was?
Do you think this is going to impact the deal in the long term?
Oh yeah. They'll still purchase Activision.
But do you think
Blizzard,
now it's like non-negotiable that it has to stay now past 3 years after the contract?
I think in order for them to buy it without little, because this is what happened with Microsoft a couple of times. This is what happened to Comcast, which is a cable company in the U.S. a couple of times as well.
Yeah.
Where you're too big for your britches. Like, no. There's these companies stop monopolies or anything that looks close to a fucking monopoly. This was going to happen. That's a red flag to spend $68 billion.
But then do you not think that sets up a precedent now to say, look, I know it's not as big as that. Just for example, something like Crash Bandicoot, okay? Everyone knows, okay, Xbox own them now technically. Everybody knows Crash is a PlayStation game. Everyone knows that. So going forward, is that now going to say, well, hold on a minute, Call of Duty's been on PlayStation for over 20 years. So is Crash. So is Crash going to come? Do you know what I mean? Like, once they do it for one IP, it's going to be the same argument for every other IP that had a long-standing relationship with Sony and their platforms.
I think this is what Microsoft is low-key trying to do. I don't feel that they have a problem with going third party, right?
100. Their future.
I don't think that they have a problem with it at all. I think what really comes into play is the very fact that Phil Spencer is championing a failing service, which is Game Pass. Whether you like it or not, It's a failing service. They're dumping a lot of fucking money into this shit. And Phil needs to fucking produce results.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the only way that he can immediately produce results for his own well-being of his own job is to make people buy it by putting Call of Duty day and date. Phil Spencer is looking out for himself because he proposed this shit. That's happening.
Another thing that really annoys me as well when people say, yeah, but, you know, Microsoft have unlimited money. They can just keep losing money. Dude, I get it at one point, but it's business.
How ridiculous. How fucking, bro, how dumb do you have to be? How dumb do you have to be to say that for my benefit, they could just keep wasting fucking money? What's this entitlement coming from, you guys? Like, how?
Bro, it's a Twitter generation, bro. They don't know anything, man.
It's like, damn. Oh, why is people raising the prices? Oh, I should get free college.
I know. Where's this money coming from?
Where do you guys act? I guess you do ask yourself that question, but you don't give a fuck where it comes from. You just want it to be free. Look, none of these companies, I don't care if they were fucking quadrillions. They're not wasting money, period. They don't want to waste money if they don't have to.
But all these mega corporations, the rule number one is don't lose money.
Because the investors are going to be like, why am I investing my money?
Doesn't make any sense.
It's bad enough that when Microsoft posts their results, they redact all of the information.
Yep. They don't want people
to their shareholders. They're just talking about profits, and nobody can really decipher what exactly does that mean. You know what I'm saying? No one knows. So eventually, that time's going to run out. That time's going to run out where they're hiding things. You know what I'm saying? And really, like I said before, Phil Spencer, this is a Phil Spencer problem. I want to end with that shit. This is a Phil Spencer 100%. Problem because he's the guy that is championing Game Pass, and he has no fuck. Even if you like Game Pass, that's cool. As you like Game Pass, I get it. Cool. Right? The problem with this is that they didn't even bother to put in before they created Game Pass. They didn't even put their own titles in there like that.
Let me ask you something before it ends. So, what do you think is going to be the straw that breaks camel's back that says, you know what, Phil, you have to go? What does he have to do that, you know, Microsoft actually say, you know what, dude, we have to replace you? You know how they did with Don Matrick when it was like, dude, we got to get this guy out. What do you think?
He's gonna move somewhere else in the company.
You think so? Yeah.
To save face.
Okay.
I said somewhere else in the company, not Microsoft. Yeah. I mean, not get Xbox. I said company.
Yeah.
Put his ass somewhere else and say that. And typically with these companies, they be like, oh, well, if you did good, they're gonna have this PR statement, right? You did so good promoting the Xbox. Go here, that's failing. These Microsoft Surface tablets, they need help.
But do you think what I'm saying to you though, what action's going to cause that? Do you think it's going to be another huge acquisition that maybe flops or not releasing games?
This right here is the make or break for him.
You think so? Yeah.
If this shit don't fall through the way that they want it, which is making Call of Duty day and date, and if these numbers don't reflect the existence of Game Pass, they only like, okay, so the only number that we know of, however they got to it, is 25 million, right?
Yeah.
I believe these shareholders are like, bitch, if this shit ain't 40 fucking million.
Yeah, minimum.
By if you put Call of Duty on this bitch and it ain't 40 million, your ass is out.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll give you the golden parachute. You can go somewhere else in the company. You could do this, but this shit is too public right now. Microsoft is not. Everybody says that somebody's hating on it. Microsoft is not known to. If it's not Windows, they don't. What product did they make that they stuck with and made successful?
Nothing.
As a household brand.
people are confused by this. I know they're a huge company, but their actual product, well, they don't make nothing, bro. Windows.
That's it.
Their cell
Windows
phones,
Windows and government projects that needs
Zoom.
Windows.
Maybe the Zoom flop.
The Zooms, the fucking Surface tablets, Skype. They fucked up Skype.
What was that shit called? Mixer. Remember Mixer?
Mixer.
That flop, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's like, at what point do you Microsoft fans? When are you going to get to the point where you understand that they don't have a healthy track record at the minimum? If you look at this shit like logistically, they don't have a healthy track record.
Bro, they're no different to
somebody
Google.
and somebody. Well, Google has some successful things too, but here's the thing: they don't make these investments. See, the problem with Google is they don't stick with it.
Yeah,
they be like, "Oh, that shit losing money." Nope. Oh, they lost a little bit. Nope. Oh,
yeah,
nope.
Quick time.
People forgot YouTube gaming was an actual separate app that was supposed to compete with Twitch before Mixer. That did not work.
Yeah, that flopped. Then like, fuck that. Let's just keep it on YouTube. YouTube is the platform, because it didn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense to diversify into YouTube gaming by itself.
Yep. Sometimes it's like that. Sometimes it be like that. But at least they trying different fucking things. Like everything that they made, it just didn't work out. There's Nokia. They destroyed that fucking company. You know what I'm saying? So like
that was a people don't understand how big. You say no. Obviously, I'm European. Nokia was, yeah, and they absolutely buried that company. Like, it's crazy what they did to Nokia.
People don't understand that. That's all I'm looking at. I'm looking at this shit on a logistic standpoint.
And the same thing that they do to companies like Nokia. I'm not trying to make it a console war thing, but it's the same thing that they do with studios. Look what they did to Rare. Everyone forgets that. Rare was one of the most beloved developers in the industry until Microsoft got their hands on them. Now they're a shadow of their former self, bro. People want to talk about EA destroying companies like BioWare. Come on, let's talk about Microsoft. Look at all the studios they own. What quality have they put out? Not beta testing, early access bullshit. What quality have they dropped? Nothing.
Just saying. I'm not imagining this shit, people. I'm truly not imagining it. Y'all guys really be fucking the whole story up. I really don't care. I don't. So, but that's really all I had. I just wanted to kind of, get my two cents, you know what I'm saying, to see, how everybody was kind of thinking about the situation. And just, it's very tiring every time this case comes up and then people think Xbox think that we're crying somehow. Like, I don't understand that, but, go ahead.
But I think it's good as well that you have like discussions like this, because obviously you see all the craziness online. People just talking
it is
nonsense. And it's okay, you know what? It's okay to have a logical discussion on both.
You can't have a logical discussion on both sides.
No, you have to have it with the right.
You gotta have you gotta you gotta put a pinch of toxicity. You know what I'm saying? Which is why I kind of named the things that I name and shit like that. I deliberately today, I put The Witcher PS5 upgrade, I put new God of War information, and people did not want that. What they wanted, this is what the gaming community is relegated to, which I can handle. It's relegated to toxicity. What they wanted, they came in this bitch to talk about the Jim Ryan versus Phil Spencer.
Yeah.
And they wanted, each person to cast stones at each other. That's what they really wanted. You guys need to start being real gamers. Like, don't get fucked up. I do like to talk about the fuckery, but I like to talk about the fuckery in a different way. I don't get this misconstrued. Like, I do. There's some toxicity there I look at, but I like to personally talk about. I like to have a different angle. You know what I mean? I'll put it that way. It's a different angle.
But to keep it real, bro, like, come on, we all have fun with a bit of back and forth and here and there. But, at the end of the day, you're a realist. And, you're acknowledging what you see in front of your eyes. Same with me.
Oh,
Dude,
yo, thank you, Jeremy.
if Starfield comes out and it's absolutely a banger and it's sick, I'm not going to be talking shit about it just because it's an Xbox. I'm like, you know what? Fair play. Great game. But then you've got those people that they have to find something wrong with it just because it's not on their platform of choice, which I think is absolutely crazy. Because when I was a kid growing up, and probably like yourself, dude, I was playing Super Nintendo, I was playing Sega, wherever, man. Wherever the games was at, I'm like, oh, that's a cool game. That's a cool game. Wherever. I was mainly a Nintendo kid, but if my cousins had Sega and the game was cool, I was like, you know what? That's a good game, man.
Yeah,
Fair play.
we had preferences. Like I didn't like Nintendo, but I certainly played their games. Jeremy, which is Nelson Gaming in the space. Before we go out here, I want to list to you the reason why I don't have that much faith in Microsoft. They have killed 122 products, 60 of them being apps, 41 services, 7 OSs, and 14 hardware. Skype for Business will die. Windows Server Essential will die. Atom will die. Internet Explorer was killed. Silverlight, Microsoft Academic, Minecraft Earth, Flight Arcade, Cortana. They killed that bitch last
Hotmail.
year.
Remember Hotmail?
Yeah. Oh, did they have Hotmail?
Yeah, they killed that shit. They killed MSN Messenger.
I'm going to read the ones that you guys would know. Mixers is killed. The Windows Phone was killed. The fuck was okay? Hold on. Microsoft Connect was killed. Lumina was killed. That was the phone. PhotoSense was killed. Movie Maker, I was hurt with this one. Movie Maker was killed because I was using that shit to make some of these videos. Visual Studio was killed. Zune was killed.
The one thing they killed that really upset me and it still hurts me till to this day. Shout out anyone that remembers this. They were making an MMO on Xbox, the original Xbox, called True Fantasy Live Online. That shit looked sick. And they killed that, man. I was hurt, man.
Oh shit, Age of the Empires was killed? Holy
Shout
shit.
Empires.
MSN TV was killed. I get why though. Damn.
They're killers, man.
Microsoft Live. Oh, the Ken. Oh shit, I remember that. The Ken, the phone. It was a phone called KIN, Ken, Microsoft Ken. I remember when I used to work for Verizon, we were trying to sell that fucking phone. We had like hotcakes, and that shit did not work. Holy shit. Huh.
I'm telling you, man, the killers, man. The only consistent thing that they've kept going over all these years, fair play to them, is Xbox. So let's keep it real. That's the only one continuous product that they're fucked with, aside from Windows stuff and Office.
Who knows what's going to happen with that one?
I think they're going to party, bro. I really think they do.
Either way, what we're going to do is we are going to wrap this up here. I really appreciate everybody showing up. Hear me rant and shit like that. I know there was some Xbox people that was following me. I want you to understand this. I do not own an Xbox in any capacity. I've never owned an Xbox. I don't like Xbox. I don't like Windows. But I will say this. I'm trying to understand why an Xbox will follow me. I don't understand that one. But I will say this, though. I'm pretty fair when it comes to it. I don't like fanboys of all types. You can like something, but being a fanboy where you're irrational, I don't like that. So with that being said, if you know my YouTube channel, which is also called Illicit Therapy, don't forget to hit that subscribe and that bell notification. And when it comes to my Twitter, don't forget to hit that follow. I'm pretty level-headed when it comes to this shit. I don't be really tweeting shit that's really volatile like that. If it's logical, that's the only time you'll hear from me. But either way, thank you, Dan. I really appreciate you being in here.
No, thanks for having me.
I am out. Peace out, guys.
Get well, Stone, by the way.
Get well.
see you. I haven't had a chance to say Peter, so get well soon.